This week in Jamaica Now.
The question of ask for the password. It's wrong.
It is illegal. The government tells police it is wrong to demand phone passwords without a court order.
As a union, we stand ready to take all possible actions to halt what I can only characterize as a travesty.
Teachers threaten decisive action if law proposed to regulate the profession is not reviewed. Massive decline in birth figures so far this year. And Alice Waugh is back at Crab Circle. Other vendors worried customers could flee. I'm Jovan Johnson and this is Jamaica Now. A 12-year-old boy was allegedly jailed overnight by the police in Trelawney after refusing to give them the password to his cell phone. That's the claim from attorney Donovan Collins, who represents the child's family. The incident reportedly unfolded in Florence Hall on April 24 and ended the next day with the boy's release from the Falmouth police station. No charges were laid. The child's mother, whose identity is being withheld, alleged, based on the child's account, that the police entered their home and demanded the phone password. She alleged that the cops threatened and abused her son when he couldn't provide the password. Mr. Collins says no court order was presented, a requirement for such searches. The claims surfaced just hours after National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang and Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake declared on Wednesday it is illegal for police personnel to demand phone passwords during random stops.
The question of ask for the password. It's wrong, but something that policemen have an inclination to do, because scamming is what is causing our problem.
Yes. Let me first say there's a process. There's a process, and the process certainly is not coercing someone on that scene to give up their password. There's a process, and it is a court order has to be made, and so it is not right. It's not legal. Let me just say that clear. And we have since communicated to our members when that came to our attention that has been a practice.
The family say they intend to sue the state. The boy's attorney described his treatment as inhumane and unconstitutional. And the police have been instructed to pause the ticketing of motorists for daytime running lights DRLs that are pre-installed on their vehicles. DRLs are typically installed near the headlight of a vehicle and automatically turn on when the engine is running. Among their primary purposes, experts say, is increasing the vehicle's visibility to other road users during daylight hours. But since the enactment of Jamaica's upgraded Road Traffic Act, there have been wide-scale reports of motorists being ticketed for pre-installed DRLs. At a news conference on Wednesday, Commissioner of Police Dr. Kevin Blake said the High Command instructed police personnel to pause the ticketing of DRLs because of what he called a grey area in the law.
If you look at the strict literature of the law itself, it allows certain things to happen, except the fact that these are lights that came with the vehicle and not necessarily placed on the vehicle. And so there's a little gray area there. And so what we have done, we have sent out communication to our members to desist from doing that. Desist from doing that is something that we need to look at in the legislation itself. But for the time being, we have instructed our members not to continue that practice. It's unfair to the motorists.
The Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, is warning of decisive action by its more than 25,000 members if the Jamaica Teaching Council JTC bill is passed in its current form. JTA President Dr. Mark Smith says while teachers support regulating the profession, key provisions in the bill are, quote, dangerous and risk damaging the education sector. The JTC bill proposes a regulatory regime for the teaching profession. It would issue licenses and discipline violators. The bill was approved in the Senate in April and is due to go before the House of Representatives for debate. At a news conference on Tuesday, the JTA president says the union is not against professionalization, but he says in its current form, the bill will hurt teachers.
Why should the board of the council to regulate teaching profession be dominated by non-teachers? Why should the teachers as professionals be treated differently from other professional councils which are established and governed as such professions? We need answers to these questions. Let us once again reiterate the point that we are in support of the idea of the bill and the professionalization of the service. That is not the issue. The issue is in how it is being operationalized through the bill. The quorum of 7 non-educators will be able to take critical decisions about teachers and education. And I put that in context there is no provision which ensures that the council could not be called in the absence of our 6 representatives. And so there is a possibility sometime in the future, if this bill passes, that you could have a sitting of the council. Yes? Sorry, 11, right. A sitting of the body, and you would end up with individuals all being seated in that council meeting, and not one is a teacher. That is dangerous.
Very, very good.
On Sunday, Dr. Smith told a church service marking the start of Education Week that teachers feel betrayed.
After 2 decades of staunch advocacy on this bill, feels betrayed, as the bill is in its present form demonstrates no meaningful effort to address the critical concerns raised as the teachers of Jamaica. The teachers have been agitating for meaningful change. We are not against professionalizing the teaching service. We support it, but we believe that the approach being taken is heavy-handed. A bill that purports to professionalize the teaching service seems more obsessed with punitive sanctions and taking control of the profession away from teachers. We embrace any bill that embraces the concept of empowering teachers and giving them agency over their own profession.
The Education Ministry has invited teachers to provide their feedback. The opposition People's National Party and Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon have clashed over the bill. After 9 years of planning, Hardware and Lumber Limited has launched what it calls a game changer in affordable housing. Partnering with Colombian experts, H&L Homes is now offering housing kits that range from 1-bedroom to 3-bedroom units. The 1-bedroom units are priced at $4.1 million and the 3-bedroom units at $8.9 million. The prices do not include general consumption tax. Chairman of H&L, Erwin Burton, says the homes are approved by the National Housing Trust, the Housing Agency of Jamaica and the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. He also noted that the homes are made with high-strength concrete and are designed to resist earthquakes and hurricanes. Buyers must provide land and foundation. The kits include doors, windows, tiles, bathroom and kitchen fixtures, and a water tank. Installation must be arranged independently. H&L says the units can be ready in as little as 2 months. Birth deliveries at Jamaica's largest maternity facility, the Victoria Jubilee Hospital, have plunged from over 500 a month last year to just above 300 in recent months, data which confirms a nationwide decline in childbirth. Ward manager Sister Dawn Williams-Gordon described the drop as unprecedented, noting some shifts now see as few as 1 or 2 births, a stark change from the hospital's usual high pace. This mirrors Jamaica's broader demographic shift. The country's fertility rate dipped to 1.9 in 2023, below the replacement level of 2.1, with only 52,000 births recorded that year. Mrs. Williams-Gordon pointed to changing social dynamics, with more women delaying childbirth for career and financial stability. She said most births now are to first- or second-time mothers, with fewer high-parity cases. While hopeful the lull is seasonal, the hospital official says if the trend holds, it may warrant government incentives or campaigns to boost births. The 2021 Reproductive Health Survey Jamaica reported that Jamaica's total fertility rate fell significantly from 4.5 births per female between 1973 and 1975 to 1.9 in 2021. Jamaica has a population of roughly 3 million people. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) has commended Jamaica for its prudent economic management, highlighting major gains in debt reduction, inflation control and record low unemployment. It issued the statement Thursday following a review. The fund praised the country's robust policy frameworks and resilience in navigating global and climate-related shocks. However, the IMF expressed concern about vulnerabilities to extreme weather, global financial tightening and tourism downturns. It urged careful management of the wage bill, stronger fiscal buffers and deeper foreign exchange reforms. The IMF also flagged persistent structural issues like low productivity, crime and poor education as key barriers to growth, though it welcomed ongoing government reforms. Infamous vendor Alice Waugh is back at Crab Circle. She was banned in October 2023 and fined $250,000 after a viral video showed her doing an unsanitary act. Ms. Waugh has quietly resumed selling at the popular food spot at Heroes Circle in downtown Kingston. But her return has upset some vendors who fear customers are being driven away. One vendor told the Star newspaper that she lost a long-time buyer just by Ms. Waugh showing up. But Ms. Waugh, defiant, says she's trained, certified and has every right to be there. CEO of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, Robert Hill, says she wasn't pre-approved and that public health officials are investigating. 2 Jamaican women are to be deported from the Bahamas after pleading guilty to prostitution charges. 28-year-old Michaela Selena Jackas and 31-year-old Toshima Tanalee Steer were arrested on April 30 in Freeport and later appeared in court. They apologized for bringing shame to themselves, their country and the Bahamas. The magistrate fined them $500 each, warning that their actions were dangerous and unacceptable. If the fines go unpaid, they face 6 months in prison. Once the penalties are settled, the women will be handed over to immigration authorities for deportation. And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. Follow us on X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram at Jamaica Gleaner, and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. Like this video on our YouTube page, turn on your notifications, and subscribe today. I'm Jovan Johnson.